Beneath the blazing sun, a faint cry pierced the stillness of the savannah, beckoning a gentle soul to investigate. With cautious steps, an elderly woman wove her way through the tall grasses, her heart beating faster with each footfall. As the brush parted, a fragile figure appeared, a trembling little creature, its fur white as clouds, eyes wide and filled with fear. For a heartbeat, the world held its breath as the woman knelt, slowly extending a hand. The air seemed to pause, sensing that something extraordinary was about to unfold. The sun dipped low, casting golden hues across the cracked earth. Towering baobab trees stood like ancient sentinels in the distance, their gnarled limbs stretching skyward. At the edge of this quiet land stood a modest mud and straw hut, its walls leaning slightly with age, weathered by years of sun and wind. This humble dwelling belonged to Nana Zola, a widowed woman who had lived alone for many seasons. She stepped out of her home, her spine curved from years of toil, a woven basket in her worn hands. A faded cloth draped over her shoulders, and her eyes lined with time and sorrow scanned the horizon with quiet resolve. Not far away, the village of Kifaru bustled with life and noise, a stark contrast to Nana Zola's silent world. She rarely visited since the devastating drought that had taken her loved ones. Choosing solitude over sorrow, she walked barefoot across the uneven ground, pausing now and then to collect sticks and twigs. The only sounds around her were distant bird calls and the gentle rustling of grass, soft reminders that the land still breathed. Though her days were hard and lonely, Nana Zola endured with strength. She straightened for a moment, shifted the basket to her hip, and looked back at her hut, a simple place, but one that gave her peace. As the golden light of early morning warmed the savannah, Nana Zola moved slowly through the open plains, her basket already half filled. She paused, wiped the sweat from her brow, and then she heard it. It was faint at first, almost drowned out by the breeze. She froze, listening. There it was again, a soft, desperate cry, like that of a child. Her heart skipped as she searched the tall grasses, her fingers tightening around her walking stick. Drawn by the sound, she carefully stepped across the brittle earth. The cries grew clearer, leading her deeper into the wild. Pushing aside a thick patch of grass, she gasped softly. Before her lay a tiny, shivering creature. Its fur was a striking white, stark against the brown and green backdrop of the savannah. It was a baby albino baboon, its body trembling, eyes filled with tears. It whimpered, stretching tiny hands into the air, reaching for comfort or rescue. Nana Zola's heart melted. She knelt down slowly, not wanting to startle it. "Oh, little one," she whispered, her voice like a lullaby. "What are you doing out here all alone?" The baby baboon flinched, shrinking back. But Nana Zola stayed still, as calm as the breeze. She extended her hand, palm open in peace. "You're safe," she said, gently. The trembling slowly eased. The baboon's frightened eyes studied her face. Then, its tiny hand reached out, brushing her fingers. A smile warmed Nana Zola's face. With great care, she lifted the little creature into her arms. It was feather-light, its silky fur brushing against her weathered skin. She held it close, rocking gently. "You're safe now," she murmured. The baboon nestled into her, its cries fading into faint whimpers. Nana Zola felt a long-lost warmth rise inside her, something deep and precious. Balancing the basket on one hip, she cradled the baboon in her arms and began the walk back home. As they walked, she whispered softly, "I'll call you Tamu. You are my little hope." Seasons passed, and the once scared little baboon became a lively companion. In the early days, Tamu clung to Nana Zola's shawl, never straying far. But as time moved on, he grew bolder, exploring every nook of their modest home and trailing Nana Zola everywhere. One brisk morning, Tamu followed her on a firewood trip, his white fur gleaming in the sun. He mimicked her, picking up small twigs and placing them in the basket. Nana Zola laughed, her joy echoing in the still air. "You clever helper," she said, patting his soft head. Tamu squealed with delight and dashed off for more twigs. As years rolled on, Tamu matured into a powerful, graceful creature. He grew tall and muscular, yet his touch remained gentle. He carried heavy bundles, climbed trees to collect fruit, and fetched water, balancing pots as if born to do so. One day, Nana Zola noticed him tying firewood into neat bundles. She clapped her hands in delight. Tamu, look at you. You've learned so much. Pride shone in Tamu's eyes as he raised the tied bundle triumphantly. Their home, once quiet and solemn, now brimmed with laughter. Tamu played in the trees, swinging from branches and surprising Nana Zola, who'd feigned scolding but always ended up laughing. He seemed to sense her moods, offering quiet comfort when she was weary or nudging her playfully when sadness crept in. He was more than a pet, he was family. Her days, once marked by silence, now overflowed with joy. But whispers began to stir in the village. He's too big, some muttered. That's not natural. Maybe it's a curse, others said. Nana Zola paid no mind. To her, Tamu was a blessing, nothing else mattered. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in gold and purple, Nana Zola watched Tamu swing happily from the trees. You're special, my boy, she whispered. Don't let anyone tell you different. But curiosity turned into fear among the villagers of Kifaru. Tales of the white baboon spread. Some said he understood human speech. Others feared his strength. Eventually, Nana Zola needed to visit the village for supplies. Tamu accompanied her, carrying a basket. As they entered the market, voices hushed. Eyes followed them. Children clung to mothers. Men stared with unease. Is that the creature they talk about? One woman whispered. It's not right, another murmured. Tamu felt the fear. He gripped the basket tighter, lowering his gaze. Nana Zola touched his arm gently. Don't be afraid. They don't know you. But fear had already rooted deep. At the fruit stand, the vendor backed away. You can't stay, he stammered, eyes darting to Tamu. That thing, it doesn't belong here. He's not a thing, Nana Zola said firmly. He's family. But her words were drowned out by rising murmurs. It's a bad sign. What if he turns violent? Tamu looked at Nana Zola, seeking answers. Let's go, she said softly, sadness in her voice. They walked away, whispers trailing behind. Soon, stories turned to wild claims, of super strength, of demonic spirits. Some said he was too smart. Too human. When the dry season came, Nana Zola's strength began to fade. It started subtly, slower steps, longer rests. But soon, even simple chores became impossible. One morning, Tamu saw her stumble. Her breath was ragged. I'm just tired, she whispered, forcing a smile. But Tamu knew better. He took over every task. Still, each evening, he sat by her side, worry etched in his golden eyes. One night, under a starlit sky, Nana Zola took his hand. You've been so good to me, she said. I'm proud of you. Tamu whimpered softly, not understanding. I'm just old, she said. My time is near. He pressed his forehead to her hand, unwilling to accept it. As her condition worsened, Tamu made a decision. He needed help. With one last look at her, he raced toward Kifaru. Be careful, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Tamu ran like the wind, his white fur catching the sunlight. Villagers stopped and stared. It's the creature, someone cried. Tamu slowed, raised his hands, made soft sounds, pleading. But fear won. He's attacking, a man shouted. A net flew through the air, then another. Tamu struggled, cried out, but the villagers overpowered him. He was dragged, bound, and locked in an old shed. Inside, he slumped to the floor, defeated. He thought of Nana Zola, of her love, her warmth. He had tried to save her, and now he was helpless. A tear slid down his face as the shed grew dark and quiet, and the sun disappeared behind the horizon. Far away, in a modest hut on the edge of the savannah, Nana Zola waited patiently, for hours, for days, until waiting became unbearable. Inside a dark wooden shed, Tamu sat motionless. His powerful frame slumped against the rough timber wall, golden eyes once bright with wonder now dulled by sorrow. The ropes that bound him felt like more than restraints, they were the crushing weight of failure. Outside, the villagers clustered together, murmuring in fearful tones. Some paced, gripping sticks and tools, prepared for the worst. Others whispered about the white demon and debated what should be done with the creature. Why did it come here? One man asked, knuckles white around a spear. Maybe it meant to attack, another said, his voice trembling. Nothing should look like that. It's wrong. But not all voices joined the panic. An elderly woman leaned on her walking stick and spoke quietly. It didn't seem violent, she murmured. It looked frightened. Her calm words were lost in the rising tide of fear. We can't take chances, a younger man insisted. It's too dangerous to let it stay. Inside, Tamu shifted slightly, testing his bonds. The ropes were tight, every move only dug them deeper into his fur. A low, mournful sound escaped his throat. His thoughts drifted to Nana Zola. He had left to find help. Now he was caged, unable to return. She was alone. And he had failed her. A young boy crept toward the shed, curiosity lighting his steps. He peered through a crack in the wall, eyes locking with Tamu's. For a long heartbeat, they stared at one another. The boy's fear began to fade as he recognized the sorrow behind those golden eyes. It's crying, he whispered. Get back, an adult shouted, yanking him away. The villagers continued arguing, some growing louder, others hesitating. The debate swirled until the village elder, Elder Jabari, stepped forward. His voice, deep and calm, quieted the noise. Enough, he said. We must not let fear dictate our actions. We must understand why it came. Silence fell. Though their eyes lingered uneasily on the shed, the villagers paused to consider his words. Inside, Tamu heard muffled voices but understood little. His head drooped. His heart was not afraid for himself, it ached for Nana Zola. She needed him, and he was helpless. In her small, quiet hut, Nana Zola lay on her cot, body frail and breath thin. The setting sun cast golden beams through the cracks in the walls, gently illuminating her face. The wind outside whispered softly. Without Tamu, the space felt hollow and cold. She lifted a trembling hand toward the door, as though willing him to return. Tamu, she breathed, barely audible. Her eyes flickered open, searching the room. He wasn't there. A familiar ache filled her heart, but she understood. Tamu had gone to find help. She was proud of his courage, but she also knew the truth. Her time was running out. Her body was giving in. Memories of Tamu warmed her as she drifted, finding him, frightened and alone, his playful energy, his protective presence. He had brought laughter and love back into her world. A gentle smile touched her lips. You gave me everything, Tamu, she whispered. You were my family. Her arm dropped to her side. Her breaths grew shallower, lighter, until finally, with a soft sigh, Nana Zola closed her eyes and slipped into peaceful rest. The wind stirred, as if lifting her spirit into the sky. Back in the shed, Tamu released a haunting cry, his chest heaving. Though he couldn't see her, he felt the loss like a stone crashing into his soul. The world dimmed around him. When dawn broke over the savannah, Tamu remained still, head bowed, heart heavy with dread. Outside, Elder Jabari addressed the villagers again, his voice calm and unwavering. If this creature meant harm, it would have shown it by now. I believe it came to us seeking help. His words rippled through the crowd, casting doubt over their fear. Guilt stirred in many hearts. Finally, one man spoke up. Maybe we were wrong. Let's set it free. A few men approached the shed with tools. Cautiously, they opened the door. Sunlight flooded in, catching the shimmer of Tamu's white fur. He blinked, wary but still. One man stepped forward and cut the ropes. "You're free," he said quietly, stepping back. Tamu hesitated, then sprinted into the open, powerful legs carrying him across the plain. The villagers watched, stunned, as he vanished into the distance. "He's going back to her," someone said. Tamu ran with everything he had. The tall grass whipped against him, but he didn't slow. Nana Zola's face, her voice, her warmth, he had to reach her. He arrived to find the door ajar. Slowing, he pushed it open gently. What he saw stopped him in his tracks. Nana Zola lay motionless on her bed, hands folded peacefully across her chest. Her face was calm, as if asleep. But Tamu knew better. He stepped forward, his massive frame suddenly small in the stillness. Kneeling beside her, he placed his hand over hers. Her skin was cold. A heart-wrenching cry broke the silence, and tears welled in his golden eyes. He stayed there, head bowed, unwilling to move as though his stillness could wake her. But she remained silent. Later that day, the villagers arrived, Elder Jabari leading them. They entered the hut with hushed steps. When they saw Tamu grieving beside Nana Zola, their fear melted into sorrow. The elder gently laid a hand on Tamu's shoulder. "She's gone," he said quietly. Tamu didn't respond. His grief was silent, but deep. The villagers stood near, burdened by regret. They had judged him wrongly. Their fear had kept him from her final moments. At sunset, with the sky painted in hues of fire and dusk, Tamu carried Nana Zola's body to the baobab tree she had loved. The villagers followed, quiet and respectful. Together, they laid her to rest beneath its branches. When the last soil was placed, Tamu remained at the grave, hands on the earth, eyes empty. One by one, the villagers left, leaving him to mourn. For days, Tamu did not move. He sat beneath the baobab, keeping vigil. From a distance, the villagers watched. Their feelings changed. Fear gave way to guilt, then to respect. They began offering quiet gestures, a basket of fruit left near the tree, children sitting nearby in silence. Gradually, fear gave way to affection. One evening, bathed in the golden light of sunset, Tamu rose. He walked to the edge of Kifaru and sat, eyes scanning the horizon. To the villagers, it was a promise. He wasn't leaving, he was watching over them, as he had watched over her. As weeks passed, Tamu began to roam the village's edge. The people, once wary, saw he meant no harm. He drove off wild predators and, during a drought, led them to a hidden spring. "He's not just an animal," someone said to Elder Jabari. "He's family now." The elder nodded, watching Tamu at the gravesite. He always was. To honor them both, the villagers built a stone marker at Nana Zola's grave, a tribute to her kindness and Tamu's unwavering loyalty. In time, Tamu became Kifaru village's silent guardian. His presence brought peace. Children grew up with stories of the great white baboon who once saved their village. To them, Tamu wasn't a beast or a threat. He was a legend. He was home.